Ed Murray Video Productions, synonymous with some of the best sport fishing videos available, has brought you the exciting challenges of giant bluefin tuna from New England, the blue marlin of St. Thomas and the Azores, and the best game fish action that Australia and Costa Rica have to offer. Traveling the world, we will continue to bring the most exciting game fish action footage into the comfort of your home.
Join us on our adventure to the beautiful Central American country of Costa Rica, where we will show you some of the most spectacular sport fishing in the world, as Ed Murray Video Productions presents Lady Gladiators. Departing from Miami, Florida, it's a 2.5-hour flight to San Jose, Costa Rica. After landing, you can spend the night in one of several top-rated hotels. We chose the Carriere, a beautiful hotel with excellent accommodations, great restaurants, and courteous employees. The following morning, we left the Carriere at daybreak to rendezvous with a twin-engine plane chartered to fly us northwest to the Guanacaste region of Costa Rica. Breathtaking scenery unfolds before us as we gaze down at mountain ranges and thousands of acres of farmland. After about a 40-minute flight, we are met and transported by van through the countryside to Flamingo Bay. This scenic and interesting trip affords us the opportunity to see some of the country's colorful sights and local culture. We arrive at the Flamingo Beach Hotel. A beautiful, modern facility, complete with a pool and pool bar, which promises to be a great way to cool off after a hard day's fishing. After checking in and having breakfast, we still have time for a full day offshore. Transportation is provided from the hotel to the marina, which is actually within walking distance. Our anglers on the first half of the trip are Melanie Ericksen, a newcomer to the sport, followed by veteran angler Kandy Kearns. Although this is only Melanie's third day of deep-sea fishing, she already has a blue marlin to her credit, caught several weeks earlier in the Bahamas. We are fishing aboard the TIJERETA, a 40-foot game fisher. The TIJERETA is owned by Pacific Coast Charters, a company formed by a group of American businessmen headed up by Mike Matlick of Rabovich Boat Works. TIJERETA is Spanish for man-of-war bird, more commonly called frigate bird, and is operated by Captain Bubba Carter. The run to the fishing grounds usually takes about an hour, but can vary depending on where the bite was the previous day. Arriving at the grounds, Captain Bubba throttles the TIJERETA back to 6 knots. As Bubba lowers the outriggers, Captain Ed Murray Sr. and mate Rick put out the baits and the stage is set for our first day of fishing. Our lady anglers anxiously await the first strike, daydreaming whether a big Pacific sailfish, monster blue marlin, or record black marlin will appear. Their daze is abruptly interrupted as Bubba calls down from the flying bridge. Sailfish, right teaser. The fish aggressively charges the teaser time and again. Bubba pulls the teaser away from the hungry fish. Kandy quickly shortens the flat line, and the now maddened sail strikes the bait. And the first sail of the trip is hooked. Bubba runs the TIJERETA in a wide circle, leaving the other lines out as long as possible, looking for a multiple hookup, which is more the rule than the exception in these fish-rich waters. Coming toward the boat and shaking its head, the fish leaps, twisting its graceful body through the air, trying to shake the annoying hook. These Pacific sailfish average over 100 pounds and are very game adversaries. After exhausting its bag of tricks, Kandy skillfully fights the fish to the boat, where Rick quickly wires it. And releases it as we watch the fish swim away unharmed. Now it's Melanie's turn. Adrenaline is pumping as she anxiously anticipates her first encounter with a Costa Rican billfish. The fish strikes the swimming mullet, and Melanie drops the bait back, allowing the fish enough time to eat it. She locks up on the drag, reels till the line comes tight, and strikes the fish to set the hook. Typical of these fish, a spectacular aerial and underwater exhibition ensues, thrilling all aboard. Even the seemingly nonchalant Captain Bubba and Captain Ed. In the blue, the sail appears to dance before our eyes like a nautical ballerina. as the fish is led to the boat, it fans out the sail-like dorsal fin, which gives it its name, to the appreciative oohs and ahs of the audience aboard. Soon, Rick has the leader. And as he releases the fish, it swims away, bewildered, but not hurt. Now, here's Captain Bubba telling us about this Pacific hotspot.
This is my second year fishing in Flamingo. It's on the Pacific coast side of Costa Rica. In 2 years of fishing here, we fished 190 days. In 190 days, we've caught 1,330 billfish. It's like a 7 fish a day average. That's through the year. I mean, we've had as much as 39 fish in a day as was our high day this year. We catch blue marlin, black marlin, striped marlin, swordfish. The biggest blue we caught was like 700 this year. The biggest black was over 8, and the stripes average about 200 to about 250. We also have dolphin that average 40 pounds, tunas that are 100 to 150, even a 200-pound tuna is caught often down here. One of the amazing things about Costa Rica is it's not seasonal, unlike the other hot spots in the world. You can fish here 12 months out of the year and have good fishing 12 months out of the year. It's got its high points, but it's real good 12 months out of the year. A lot of the captains here seem to believe that the next world record blue marlin or black marlin will be caught here. There's been a lot of big fish stories. The guy that actually started the fishing here, I'm not real sure, but I've been told that a guy named Jim Paddock on a boat called Stormy came here in 1975 with Rick Defio on a government grant to do experimental fishing in Costa Rica, and in turn started Bahia Pesvela. And that basically started all this a short time ago in 1975. I've been lucky enough to have fished all over the world, and this is one of the best that I've ever fished. It's got all the species, it's got a lot of numbers, it's got a lot of big fish.
Since Melanie caught her first blue marlin on a lure, that lure goes everywhere she fishes. Here's second mate Danielle putting it out on a larger 80-pound rig, more appropriate for a big blue or black marlin. Our anglers settle in, anticipating the next action. And soon, a nice blue appears behind the right teaser. Before Bubba has a chance to pull the teaser from it, the marlin turns and engulfs the lure, hooking itself. This is a real hot fish that tears the surface of the ocean apart in a series of spectacular, frenzied leaps. Bubba coaches from the bridge. As Melanie struggles to stay tight to the enraged billfish. After a relatively short but furious battle, the leader is brought to within Rick's grasp. And he gently leads the blue alongside the boat for pictures. Its bronze flanks and hitchhiking suckerfish are visible in the gin-clear water. Aside from watching the baits, the crew is constantly on the lookout for other indications of game fish presence, marking gigantic columns of bait on the recorder, and watching graceful frigate birds working bait on the surface is almost a guarantee that billfish are feeding below. The playful porpoise are a welcome sight here as billfish and big yellowfin tuna congregate among them. It's truly amazing that with thousands of these graceful mammals swimming all around the boat, that not once were we cut off by one of them brushing against the taut line when we were hooked up. A sight like this assures us that the presence of billfish is below. This could be called a fisherman's dream. Tailing fish are also frequently seen. All eyes scan the surface as Melanie and Kandy wait expectantly by the rods. Bubba has decided to take a break, and Captain Ed Murray took over the controls and called from the bridge. Sailfish, left flat. The fish materializes out of the blue and rushes in to stun his prey. Kandy drops back and hooks the fish, which immediately takes to the air. As Ed puts the TIJERETA in a turn, another fish swims up on the large mullet teaser, quivering with excitement. The sail fades off and attacks the right flat line, where Melanie hooks up for the first doubleheader of the trip. More typical, spectacular acrobatics commence, and the boat is skillfully maneuvered to keep the lines from crossing. The girls rhythmically pump the fish up to the boat. Viewed from below, the sails appear to be like sea-to-surface missiles as they take to the air again. Soon, the two-tired billfish are close again, but with amazing strength display a never-say-die tenacity. Both fish are released to fight again as another great day concludes. This excitement ends the first half of our trip as Bubba docks the TIJERETA. We returned to Costa Rica a few weeks later and arrived a day early to tour the countryside. The Central American country of Costa Rica, nestled between Panama and Nicaragua, is about the size of West Virginia. It has year-round spring-like temperatures, averaging 72 degrees inland and low 90s along its coasts. Its lush rainforest and fertile volcanic soil enable plants and animals to proliferate. Exquisite fruits and vegetables are grown here. Costa Rica is home to over 850 species of birds. Among 12,000 types of plants are over 1,100 stunning varieties of orchids. 46 national parks and wildlife preserves occupy about 27% of the nation, serving as protection for Costa Rica's natural wonders. Costa Rica is also renowned as a sport fisherman's paradise with world-class fishing on both its coasts. The Flamingo area, located in the northwest province of Guanacaste, is one of Costa Rica's most exclusive beach resorts and has several luxury hotels and a growing marina. Native Costa Ricans, affectionately called Ticos, are one of the country's greatest resources. Having Central America's only true democracy, they are proud of their nation's freedom and peace-loving nature. Soccer is the national sport and is played everywhere. Traveling the countryside, we see it played by all age groups, perhaps anticipating joining the national team. The population of 2.7 million has an impressive 94% literacy rate. There are more teachers than policemen and almost a non-existent crime rate. Socialized medicine and freedom of religion all contribute to the stable ambience of this tropical paradise. Over 1/3 of Costa Rica's population resides in the bustling capital city of San Jose. Most of the best motels lie on the outskirts of town with easy access to and from the airport. Because of its carefree atmosphere, rich rolling hills, and friendly ticos, this Switzerland of the Americas is fast becoming a retirement haven for people the world over. The lava-rich soil has made agriculture the dominant industry in Costa Rica. There are twice as many species of trees as in the continental U.S. Coffee is grown on the higher mountain slopes and exported around the world, along with gorgeous flowers and succulent fruits. Much of the land has been devoted to cattle grazing, and beef production is quite high. As the sun sinks over the Pacific Ocean, we reluctantly conclude our Costa Rican tour, anticipating more fabulous billfish action aboard the TIJERETA. As we head out through the Catalina Islands, Bubba's new crew, Roger and Loco, tie dental tape on the 30-pound line. This marks the line at the distance Bubba wants to fish it from the boat. It is tied with a loop which goes into the outrigger pin to prevent the line from chafing. On the next day, Melanie teamed up with her friend from Palm Beach, Karen Princenthal. Karen and Melanie plan their strategy on the way out, and we are soon on the grounds. We are out earlier than usual today, and before the mates have all the baits out, a fish comes up on the left teaser. Where Karen expertly picks him off and hooks up to her first Pacific Sailfish. The fish catapults into the air time and again in its quest for freedom. Karen energetically fights the sail and deftly guides the line back onto the reel. In its wild leaping, the fish has gotten tail wrapped. And we see here how Captain Bubba's short 4-foot wind on leader expedites the release of the fish with no harm to it at all as it swims right off. Many more sailfish are caught throughout the morning, but as the wind picks up in the afternoon, so does the fishing, and the girls are soon hooked up to a doubleheader. These fish are among the most spectacular of the trip and show why they are nicknamed swashbucklers of the sea. Karen's fish resembles an Olympic gymnast as it contorts its body as it goes somersaulting across the waves. Melanie's fish, not to be outdone, performs a classic tail walk which seems to go on forever. It fans out its glorious dorsal fin as it re-enters the water. Both lady gladiators on the boat and in the sea look like old pros as they show their stuff. Bubba backs down on the fish. And Ed and Roger quickly release them both. Bubba prefers to fish horse ballyhoo in the outriggers and wedged, deboned, and split-tailed mullet on the flat lines. Captain Bubba demonstrates how he has his crew rig these baits.
What he's doing, he's cutting the wedge in the head. So you can, when you pull his head down flat, it'll swim a little better. Now that the wedge is out, he's going to split tail it. And the split tail is to make it swim a little easier, look more alive. And it also gives your hooking percentage a little better. Okay, we're using a 8/0 7731 Mustad hook, and you can rig them with a lead on them or without a lead on them. A lot of the baits, the skipping baits, seem to work real well. It's a 100-pound monofilament leader with a crimp on it, and we just found the crimps to be a little faster because every day we're rigging 50 to 65 baits a day, and they seem to come out of your box a lot easier without the knots in them. You pull their head down, seize it up real good. Pull his head down and the wedge will pull shut. His head gets littler, makes him more streamlined in the water. And then all you have to do is close his mouth. And we used to sew his mouth shut, but the knots would come loose when you troll him for an amount of time. So now you just open up a little hole with a needle through the existing nostrils that he has, and we put wire in it, and it never comes undone, and it makes it a little faster. You can do it with thread too. There's not a wrong or right way about it. And then you just cut it off, and basically you're ready to go. The 100-pound mono leader is about 4 feet long, and it goes onto a wind-on Dacron leader. But this is all set, soft, ready to be ate. Next, we'll do a ballyhoo. We take out the eyes, because if you troll a ballyhoo long enough, the eyes will come out, and once the eyes swell out, they'll spin, and you're trying to keep them from spinning. You cut his bill a little short, right about there, not back into the part of the mouth, but just a little short. You open his gill rakes up, the splash will pop up. You count his gills, 1, 2, you go into the bottom of his gill. You don't bend it back like you would a king mackerel bait. You leave it straight, you curl your hook right through. And this hook is a 8/0 77/66. And notice your hook is real up close, real up tight to the belly. You make a hole through the hard part of his head, and you slip your wire, just pass it through everything. Once it's about 1.5 inches up, you make one turn around, you go through his eyes, you come back up through the hole again, right through the same hole. It's a little bit touchy because it's just a little hole, but you can find it. Once you have them both through, you see, see, you pull it tight. You can do it with your hands or your mouth or pliers. It's just easier and faster if you do it with your mouth. You pull it down tight. You notice how the hook's real tight in him, and it's also almost a stiff rig. It's not loose in him at all because it's tight. That seems to work real good on billfish. Basically real fast.
Bubba also uses large rig swimming mullet. And his favorite marlin bait, a fresh-caught bonita, rigged Catalina style. On our last day of fishing, Melanie is the lone angler aboard the TIJERETA. With a fresh cooler of bait, we head out to the grounds. Bubba is on the radio with Rick DeFeo, captain of Tyson's Pride, who has found birds working bait fish on the surface. We are soon next to Tyson's Pride, which has already caught several sailfish. Little do we know what a magic day of fishing this will turn out to be. The mates set the lines. And quickly, a sail charges the bait, striking it with its bill to stun it. Like a neon blue shadow, the sail whirls onto the left flat line. It changes its mind again, finally eating the left rigger bait. Melanie hooks up, and the fish dances across the calm water, shooting from right to left like an arrow and somersaulting wildly. This fish is another showstopper. but it is soon dancing next to the boat. Shaking its head where Roger cuts the leader. Melanie is catching one sail after another when suddenly a marlin appears. It crashes the bait. She picks up the 30-pound rig and is soon hooked up to her first black marlin. The battle is exhilarating. Lunging, twisting, turning, smashing, and crashing. The black seems to know the camera is running and wants to make sure that she is the star attraction. Throwing white water and turning the sea to foam, the marlin surfs across the ocean in plain view. Porpoises are casual spectators as the fight wears on. The fish makes a wide circle and heads for the boat, crashing toward it like a torpedo. Scant yards away, it abruptly changes direction and goes off greyhounding and flying through the air. What a fish! The marlin does everything an angler can wish. Melanie's improved angling ability stands her in good stead along with Bubba's expert boat handling. Bubba quickly backs down on the fish, allowing Roger to grab the leader. Having only a 100-pound sailfish leader, the fish surges away from the boat, snapping it like a thread. What a memorable experience for Melanie. One which earns her an IGFA 10-to-1 patch. As the sun sets on our last day, there's a sheepish smile on Melanie's face. And we are wondering if it's because she just caught her first black marlin, or is she looking forward to her next exciting Lady Gladiators adventure? We all hope you enjoyed this latest Ed Murray video production. Hope that you stay tuned for hot action previews of other Ed Murray video productions after the credits. Over 70% of the Earth's surface is covered by water, with most of that water in oceans and seas. Water areas are a source of food and minerals. Millions of people work there. Millions of others cross them as they travel. Over 70 million Americans engage in various types of recreational boating activities each year. Few among the millions involved understand that water is the most immediately hostile survival environment on Earth. It kills much faster than deserts, jungles, or the extreme cold of the Arctic. Recreational boaters in the United States alone are involved in almost 10,000 serious accidents every year, and over 1,000 of them die. Many more accidents resulting in deaths also occur among those who work or travel on the water. Most of these deaths could have been prevented.